Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'll be showing you how to make generally just cameos, polymer clay cameos. If you don't know, a cameo is like a silvery metal thingy surrounding a black center with some white pattern or face, like profile, anything like that. So yeah, I did a daisy here, and this one I made a white rose. This one I just made some flowers. Made an octopus for this one. Made a moon and shiny stars, and then I made a cat. So yeah, let's get started. For this you're going to need some silver clay. I'm using Primo for silver. But you're just going to make that and roll it out into a ball and then flatten it to a disc. And then you're going to need some black, which I'm using Sculpey for, black Sculpey. And then Primo white is what I'm using for the white part. You don't have to use these brands, but these are just my personal favorites and the ones that I've found to be the best, in my opinion. And yeah, and the tools you'll need are a toothpick. I think it's optional, but it would just definitely help you out if you want to do any patterning or just like punch holes in things. And yeah, you can also use a dotting tool. A dotting tool for like nails and stuff is also effective. And you're going to need a jump ring. A jump ring is just like a little openable wire ring. And pliers would also help you. You don't need them. You can use your fingers, but it just depends, because if your jump ring is really hard to open up with your fingers, then you're definitely going to need pliers. And yeah, then you're going to need glaze, which I use Varathane gloss for. And that's my favorite glaze to use. You can use other glazes, but that's just my personal favorite. And you're going to need a workspace that your parents are okay with you potentially getting dirty and glazing and stuff. So I would recommend like a sheet of printer paper would be good, or I'm using literally this old Tupperware like pie shaping crust thing that my mom's not using, and also having a little blade to cut things with. They're actually just like, literally they call them polymer clay cutting blades. But yeah, so to start off you're just going to make this disc, roll out a polymer clay ball, and then flatten it so it's in disc shape. And then you're going to use your fingers to just roll out polymer clay snake. Just get a ball of clay and then use your finger just to roll on it. And I did this section already. You're going to want to make sure that it's not too thick yet not too thin. Oops, drop that. I would say I'd make it a bit thicker than this. I'll just roll these together. But yeah, I'm just rolling out some clay out of this one. I cut it up earlier, but I was like, eh. Yeah, I'll just cut off a new piece from this snake that I have. So I'm going to show you specifically how to do a few of the different shapes that I did on these cameos. As you see, I did some different little squiggly squiggles. So you're just going to use your polymer clay cutting blade or your fingers. I find the blade's easier to use though. And you're just going to cut off about this much. And then one of the first little designs you can do is you can just take one end, curl it into the middle like that, and then use the other end. You can scoot it back though a little if you don't have enough room, and then curl it in too. So it makes a little tiny figure 8 S-ish shape. That's one design. These are all, I'm cutting off like the same-ish amount of clay for. keep knocking over my little skewers. Okay, so that for this piece of clay, I think I got something on it. There we go, got that off. And now, you're gonna use this one to do just a simple curl inward. It's like this figure 8 that you did, except instead of one going inward and the other going the other direction, you're just gonna put them both inward. And you can adjust them if need be. But yeah, you can just curl them inward in a little shape like that. Next little clay thing you can do is you can cut off yet another good amount, same size as the other ones. I always smooth mine out, make sure it's more even before I start. And anyways, another design you can just do is a classic simple. Just curl one end in a little bit. And then when you put it on the side of your silver thing, you can just, curl the other end a teensy tiny bit. So that makes this nice little swirl with a little flip. But yeah, that's one other design. Forgot to mention, if you want to do different like little patterns or cameo things like a daisy, octopus, rose, you can just look up other videos. People show themselves making octopuses, anything really. And you can make a white one and slap that on. It doesn't even have to be white, it's just that I like to do white since that's what a traditional cameo has on it. But yeah. Next little thing I'll show you. It's just simple. You pinch it in the exact middle, like that. And then you just curl up each end. And if you really want to get fancy, you can curl it all the way in. So that makes a nice little point, and it looks like a little tiny tiara or something like that. Now that's what I did for some other polymer clay things that I made. What I made is a bunch of those, and then I put them all on in like a star shape. I doodled this on with a special pen. This is the pen I used, Pitt Artist pen. Faber-Castell. Black, extra small tip. Specifically what I used. But anyways, I just made a bunch of these, stick them all on the corners. So it made a huge star like that. You can make a really big one, put them all on like that. So yeah, if you just made a bunch of these, it would look really cool too. And yeah, another design that you can make is you can cut your clay a little bit tinier. This is not, well, it's kind of a design, it's more like a tiny little accent. You can use this to put your little jump ring through. And you can also use it, like I said earlier, in one of these. This one I did only 4, and then I filled in the spaces with these things that I'm just about to do. But in this one I just filled it with all points. But anyways, it's really simple. All you do is just bend it to a point here. It's like just a teardrop shape. Really simple. And yeah, I think that's most of them. There are just tiny variations on other ones. Like the one that's this curly one. You don't have to curl it, you can just make a little squiggly S, like a really loose, tight S like I showed here. And you can do a bunch of these too. Just a simple teardrop with a little extra at the end. Another thing you can do is like a squiggle. like a little M-like squiggle, except really loose around the center. That's what I used here. And just a bunch of these half heart shapes. It's literally like a cane. Like you can see, it's like a shepherd's cane or a J. And yeah, the way that you place these is entirely up to you. That's why these are so creative. This is like I said earlier, I can't remember if I said it yet, but this is like entirely part of your creativity video. This has got a lot of variations that you can create yourself. This isn't really a specific do it this way or die video like other ones that are like really specific. This is like a lenient, your style video. So each person's little cameo is going to look different, and it's going to have your own style. So don't try to copy mine, because that's not fun. What's really fun is making your own stuff and coming up with your own ideas. You can follow any of the ones I used here, but like I said, it will be different in your own unique way. So I'm going to go off camera to make my bezel, since, why do I call it a bezel? It's a cameo. I'm going to go off camera to make my cameo, because it's just my own design. But yeah, I'm going to go off camera right now to make all these little pieces that I want on here for this specific one. I'm going to come back just to show you how to attach them, and how to attach the black part, and how to attach the white section. Okay, so I've finished my piece. I've finished the center part, and what I did was I basically rolled out a slightly smaller ball of black. I flattened it and then made sure that the black is thinner than the silver. It just makes it easier and it makes it look nicer. And for the starfish, all I did was I took a ball of clay, I rolled it out a little bit, made sure it was a little pointier at the end, and then flattened it a teensy tiny bit with my finger, and then literally just used a toothpick and poked a bunch of holes on there randomly. And then I just rolled out a white for the middle, flattened it in there, and then poked holes in it too. And I used my dotting tool to make a nice little dot, and then I poked a little tiny white ball in there. And I did that in between each tentacle. And for my silvery parts, I did 5 of these little teardrop loops and 5 of the little crown loops that we would tie in with the 5 little arms of my starfish. So, I believe that it would be best for me to put a teardrop right across from each little tentacle. I believe that's the design that I want to look for. So yeah, basically, to apply your little, teardrops and all your little silvery parts, you're just gonna lay down your design after you finish it. And you're going to take, let me try and zoom in a bit more. Sorry if it's kind of blurry now, but just gonna take a teardrop and just gently press it in there. Gonna do that with every teardrop right across from each tentacle. You don't even have to press it in too hard, because you're going to reinforce all this. Make sure it's all sturdy when you glaze it. That's why I said you have to have glaze. Basically, you're just gonna put a dollop of glaze right where it joins. That should really help. And make sure when you're attaching these little silvery teardrops that you're attaching them to the silver part, not the black or the white parts, because it just looks more realistic when you attach it to the silver part. Makes all the silver look like it was one piece. Put this one too far away. There we go. Now I'm just going to situate one of these little crown thingies right in between. I'm putting these little crown things right across from the little white dots. Might add some silver dots in between to make it look better and more clean and more tight together, but I'm not sure yet. I'll just have to look and see what it looks like at the end. But yeah, another little design element I forgot to mention was, oops, I accidentally squished this one a bit too much for my liking. Just gonna adjust it. And then when you're all done placing all your pieces, you're going to take your clay blade and you're going to gently just kind of wiggle it underneath everything to pick it all up. You can see some of my pieces came off, but yeah. I'll just fix this up later. But basically you will have to make sure that they're pressed in just enough that when you move it, it won't like completely come off. But yeah, you're just gonna scoop this up, put it on your baking pan that has tin foil on it, and then stick it right in your oven. I like to bake mine at 250 degrees for 25 minutes, these pendants, since they're bigger. But yeah, I'm gonna come back after it's baked and show you what to do next. Okay. So I've baked my charm for the time that I told you, and this is what it ended up looking like. Now for glazing, you don't really have to do anything extra special, you just paint on your glaze. I like to do 2 coats because of the thickness of my glaze, and because 1 coat will make it like satiny, and 2 coats will make it really shiny, and I'm going for the shiny look, so I definitely would like to do 2 coats. And don't be scared if these break off. You can just glue them back on with your glaze, but don't try and break them off. It just makes it easier if they're all attached right now. But yeah. To reinforce this, after you like glaze everything normally, you're gonna put like a drop of clay right between these silver pieces join. So yeah, let me zoom in a bit more. Using my zoom action. But anyways, and just take this brush, glaze everything normally. And I think it's okay if it gets in between the holes. I don't think it looks that bad. It feels weird looking at it zoomed in on a camera. I haven't done this before. But yeah, don't paint underneath yet. You just have to like wait for this top part of your charm to dry completely. I don't know exactly how long it takes, but I think it's under an hour for it to dry. I'd say maybe 15-20 minutes for this glaze that I use. But yeah, nothing really very interesting here. What should I talk about? I like to randomly ramble on. But you're going to be adding your little jump ring after the whole thing is entirely glazed and all that. And I will show you how to attach that. I'm obviously going to be going off camera because, you know, nothing's more boring than watching glaze dry. Except, I don't know. Unless you have like this weird thing about liking to watch glaze dry. I don't know. But it is interesting how it looks different as it dries. Now I'm going to come back to these side edges. Actually, you know what? I'll just put the globs of glaze on right now while I'm at it. Gonna get a good sizable amount of drop. But yeah. getting it all cracks. And you'd probably like to do this on the other side if you can. That would make it reinforced even more and make it look better. But while you do this, you gotta make sure that you leave at least one of these holes open to attach your little jump ring to. Let me find my top. But yeah, I think I'm gonna use one of these other holes, one of these little separate loops to put my jump ring through. But yeah, that way it would hang better. You know what, I think I might as well just go off camera after I add these extra little glaze droplets. But yeah, it's very important that you do this step or else your charm will be really fragile. Fragile, how do you say that? What you say? Have you heard of the meme, all your base are belong to us? It's so funny. It's about this badly translated game. It was like apparently Japanese or something, and they had to translate it real quickly. So, it has some really botched English in there. It's just like, what you say? And it's like, all your base are belong to us. It's just like, what, why? But yeah, if you do get a really big, you know, glob of clay in a hole where you don't want it, just gotta, why did I say clay? Glob of glaze. Either use a paper clip or a toothpick. I'm just gonna even use my pliers right now. Get in there. Kinda wiggle it out. That'll work. So yeah, I think got it down mostly. And then I'm gonna glaze the top of this, just, you know, paint over it, yada yada. Make sure you get the sides real well too. And now I'm gonna go off camera and glaze all of this up, 2 coats, front and back, so it's nice and shiny and dry and ready, and then I'll show you how to attach the jump ring. Okay, so I've glazed my charm, given it 2 coats on the front, and 1 on the back. I think 1's sufficient for the back. And now I'm going to show you how to attach a jump ring. So for the jump ring, I've already opened one up here. I need to open it like this, but since that one's already open, I should probably get out another one and show you how to open it up. Just to be more specific, a little baggie of jump rings. Yes. Okay. Sorry for not doing this earlier. So, you can see this little jump ring. It has like 2 metal sections. And to open it up, you're going to take one of your pliers, or you can use your fingers if you want. This one's really easy to open up, so I could if I wanted to. But usually what I do is I use my pliers and my fingers on the other end. And then instead of pulling them apart like that, you gotta pull one up and one down. Like that. And then you take your charm, whoopsie daisy. Feels weird zooming in. Oh my gosh, I've never done this before. Anyways, take your charm. And you find the section that you want to be at the top. Looking at it right now. Probably this hole right here. You're just going to thread your jump ring through it. And if you need to, you can open it up a bit more in the same manner that I showed earlier. And then close up your jump ring in the same manner that you opened it. Make sure there's not a ton of space in between. Make sure that this won't, you know, be able to go through and unfasten it. That would be bad. But yeah, there's that. And then you can take any sort of necklace chain. I'll just show you one for example. Any sort of necklace chain. And then you find that jump ring. No sirens. And then you can just thread your necklace through. Except this one's too big at the end, so not using that one. But yeah, if you do need a larger jump ring, you can use a larger one. This one's probably kind of tiny to honestly put on a necklace chain. But usually what I do is I sometimes anchor them like on the necklace chain, like actually attach the jump ring to a little piece of the chain, that way it doesn't move around. So you can do that, or you can just string it through the chain. One or the other is fine. But yeah, anyways, there is your charm. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. And I hope you liked the suggestions that I had for different types of charms to do. And anyways, tell me if you want more polymer clay stuff. I probably won't do it very often, just like one of those crafty weekends. Like, remember I did one a while ago and showed you how to make my dragon? But anyways, that is all. And I also forgot to mention that I sell some of these cameos on my Etsy. So if you don't have the materials to make your own and you really like some of these, then go check out my Etsy and you can look at them there. I'll probably put a link in my description, but if I forget, you can go to my profile, go to About, and then underneath there will be a link to my Etsy. But anyways, bye.